Hello knitters, my name is Vanessa. I am the designer and dyer behind Cape May Fiber. I wanted to show you all today how I make my triangles for my Dendrite Throw. The throw is a modular knit piece. When I make my triangles, you start from the outside, and this is your cast on edge, and you decrease until you get to the center part, and then this is the wrong side of the piece, and I will show you how to pick up stitches and also how to backward loop. I am going a little out of order from what the pattern says. I have them recommended 1 through 60 on how to make the triangles and the order to do them, and just it's a recommendation. I'm going out of order because when I was making my sample here, I wasn't sure exactly how large I wanted it to be, so I'm still kind of working my way around the outside of the throw. So just keep that in mind, that this is not a specific number triangle. So I'm going to be building my triangle right along this edge here. And so one edge will be picked up and the rest are going to be backward loop cast on. On some of these triangles, you're going to be needing to do 2 edges of pickup and 1 for backward loop cast on. Still the same number of stitches, but just keep that in mind that I'm going to be doing 1 pickup edge and 2 backward loops. So let me see if I can adjust myself so this can be seen. So you're going to need 4 double pointed needles and some yarn. So this is my edge here. This is the right side facing. Take your yarn and 1 double pointed needle, and you're going to be picking up all along this edge here. When I pick up, I go in just getting 1 strand, and I like to do that because if you pick up more than 1 strand of the edging, it's just kind of thick. Like if you go in too deep, it's too thick. I don't like that for the throw, and this is already a very thick yarn. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's what it looks like. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So I'm going to be backward loop casting on 14 onto an empty double point. So when I backward loop cast on, I like to use my finger to help with this. So I will make a loop and then I just draw that loop onto my double point. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. Then 1 more double pointed needle and cast on another 14. So just in case you want to see the backward loop cast on again. That's 1. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, we have all of our stitches now. Here's our double points. Okay, so then just make sure with this tail that it is on the inside of your triangle. So because if it's like this, you might end up kind of twisting that first stitch. So don't do that. Try to have it towards the inside. And you do want, I didn't say this, but you do want at least like a 6-inch tail because you're going to be weaving that in. Plus this stitch right now is kind of loose and everything, and you know, you need a little bit of a tail so that you don't lose it. So going back to the first double pointed needle where we did our pickup stitches, you're going to start and you're going to knit all the stitches on this double point as well as the other 2. So you're just going to basically knit around. So, and that also joins your triangle and the round. Right, it might be a little awkward at first. I know a lot of people have told me they absolutely do not like double pointed needles. I don't recommend doing this with circulars. It's really kind of tricky with the decreasing and a little hard to keep track of. So you do want to do it on double points and get yourself familiar with them. It's been so long since I've worked with double points that I don't remember the awkwardness completely. I'm sure you're just like anything new. It's a little frustrating, but you just keep at it and you'll get better. Okay, one more needle to go. So, and if for some reason something weird happens, and I'm just going to show you, see how everything's like lined up and beautiful on top, all of the stitches. If for some reason when you're doing your first row and you're like, oh, what do I do if this happens? You know, just kind of try to look at it and unfurl it and get all of this straight along the bottom here. And also don't worry about this. You're probably going to be confused, like, why is that so large? That goes away with our first row. So, and I'll show you what that little corner looks like too. That's perfectly normal. Do not get discouraged or nervous. It is okay. So almost there. All right, going back to that corner. Remember, I was like, don't worry about that. Look at it. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so we did our first round of plain knit, and that is actually our only round of plain knit, because now we are going to be repeating the same thing on all needles until we end up with 6 stitches. And that repeat round is this. Let me get some more yarn. Slip, slip, knit the first 2 stitches of your double point. Okay, that's that. Knit to the last 2 stitches of your double point. All right, and knit them together. Now you have 2 stitches decreased on this double point, and you're going to repeat that on the next double point. So let's do that. Slip, slip, knit 2 together, and then go ahead and knit to the last 2 stitches. And you guessed it, knit 2 together. All right, last double point of this round. Same thing, slip, slip, knit 2 together, knit to the last 2 stitches. I'm not going slow on these knits. I think you all know how to knit. If not, well, maybe I'll just show you real quick. Go into knit, yarn around your needle, pull through, slip off. Okay, so then go ahead and knit 2 together, and 1 round is complete. Fantastic, yay! So you're going to be repeating that round until you only have 6 stitches remaining, and that would be 2, 4, 6, 2, 2, and 2. Okay, so I'm going to just quick try to do that and hopefully figure out how to speed up my video for you all, because no one wants to sit here and watch me knit that much, do they? Maybe. So, in case I can't speed this up, let's have a little chat. How about I tell you about the origins of the Dendrite Throw. When I was a young designer working for a yarn company as their pattern designer, I was developing lots of stitch patterns, lots of stitch techniques, and I was playing around with, motifs. And, one day I was like, well, let's cast on all these stitches and try to decrease. I was actually attempting to make like a circle with these decreases. But what ended up happening when I was doing these decreases in the corners is I was getting an equilateral triangle, and I loved it. I was like, this is so cute. what do I do with it? This is adorable. I don't know what to do with this triangle. So then I was like, well, how about I make a couple triangles and maybe see what the shape looks like? Because then maybe I could still get my circle that I really, really, really wanted, you know, originally. So then I was working on making another one. I was like, you know what? I hate casting on all of these stitches. Do we really have to do it this way? So focusing on that and, you know, trying to make things more pleasant, I was like, well, why did I pick up stitches along the edge? It's the same amount of stitches, right? I can do that, right? It won't look silly, right? That's exactly what I did. I went and I picked up stitches along one edge, backward loop cast on, and worked my triangle. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but this is definitely not going to be making a circle. No. And what it ended up doing was making a hexagonal shape. And I was like, well, that's kind of neat. I'm like, that's like really cool, because with the decreasing of each triangle, it almost makes like a little snowflake pattern, you know, with these decreases, right? It makes a raised edge, and I was like, that's really cool. So as I was developing it, working for the yarn company, there was a call for interweave knits, and they, you know, with their theme, and I was like, okay, I think I can do this. I'm gonna submit a design, and I'm gonna, you know, I've never been in interweave before. I always wanted to. I think I was like, oh gosh, 10 years ago, 27 or 28, depending on what time of the year. And I was like, oh, let's submit this. This is going to be interesting. I don't know what they're going to think of this. Well, I got the call back, and they were like, this is great. Let's do a shawl with this motif. And I'm like, right on, let's do it. So anyway, that's how my Ojo de Dios shawl was born. And little end of story. But anyway, here we go. We have, what did I say our magic number was? 6. Okay. So I don't have any scissors handy. Hold on. I should have thought this through. I will be right back with my tapestry needle and scissors. All right, here we go. Tapestry needle, scissors. Okay, so I like to leave about a nice long 8-inch, I don't know, which 10 inch, doesn't matter. A nice long tail, because we're gonna be cinching up this triangle. So let's get a better view here for you guys. All right, can you see that? Yeah, okay. Thread your tapestry needle. Now go into the next stitch and thread all 6 of these through. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. All right, pull through, cinch up. And to secure this, I like to go back into these stitches just a little bit, almost there. And then I notice when I do this that there's always this one where I first started with this little, I don't love it. So what I end up doing is I like to just thread that and then go back the opposite way, and kind of hides it in there, because I think that they should be a little bit prettier in the center. Okay, so then go right through, okay, pull, and then I think that this is pretty handy, this little row right here, and that's where I'm going to go in to weave in my end. So I'm just going to go right in here, and this is a nice big thick single ply yarn, and I like to actually split it a little bit because I think it secures it better. So go ahead and pull that, give it a little tug. And I like to call that good. I think that that's very nice and done. So go ahead and clip. And that is our triangle. Not too hard, right? 59 later and you'll have a dendrite throw. I wanted to also bring in the something to take note of is when you are finished with, say, 6 of these all together, you will have a little gappage like that in the center. And so what you should do is take a strand of your yarn, unless you have like a tail here, then use that instead, because it's obviously easier, and you can go ahead and weave in your end as well as cinch your middle. So this is our little hexagon right here. Okay, so you're just going to want to take some yarn and cinch that closed. So I'm just going to go around like a couple of these from each triangle and work your way around. I'm holding on to the tail end on the inside, and I'm going to do a couple more, maybe this time every other, just to get nice and tight. Okay, that's better. Okay. And then just like I said with the other one, you're just going to go through opposite side. We're going to weave in just like we did before. I'm not sure if you really need to watch me do this part, but we're going to do it anyway. So, but that is basically it. I might add an edging to this blanket. It might not need one. I'm gonna think about it. You know, if you wanted to say add an edging, if you thought, oh well, it would look so pretty if it had like a little decorative edging, you could possibly do sorry about my foot. I noticed my foot showing here. No one needs to see that. You could possibly do double crochet edging, and then maybe in the corners, depending on it, you know, if they're, you know, more concave, you could do a decrease in the corner, or an increase in the corner. So I'm going to just show you the edge real quick here. This is what the edge looks like at this point. So if you wanted to do something, I would suggest, as it goes in here, you could do a decrease of double crochet with your crochet hook, and then maybe up here you would do an increase, and that way it doesn't pucker funny. So, all right, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful. All right, take care.